Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening, our viewers, audience. Good evening, gentlemen. We are here in the office of Awami Falahi Party, Lahore, Greentown, D2. We have with us our honorable guest, Mr. Carl Rutten from Belgium, Europe, who has been in the field of livestock, dairy, both consultancy services as well as products. We have requested him to visit us so that we can learn from him in regard to agriculture and livestock, where Europe is today, how they reached here, and how can we get guidance or assistance from them to reach where they are today, probably in next 5 or 10 years. In addition to that, my honorable associates from Awami Falahi Party, Mr. Ahmed Suhail, Senior Vice Chairman, Mr. Bilal Mughal, General Secretary, and Secretary Finance, Mrs. Rabia Shiraz, they will also put forward questions to Mr. Carl Rutten so that he can answer and we can help our audience, assist them improve as a society and as a country. Welcome, Mr. Carl Rutten. How are you?
I'm doing extremely well. Thank you very much. I have to thank the Pakistani government that they gave me a visa to come here, so I'm very, very happy to be here.
I welcome you. We appreciate that. Well, straight away asking you, Mr. Carl Rutten, that right now our economy is agro-based economy. 60% of our economy depends on agriculture and livestock. But we feel that our cows at an average are performing around 5 liters per cow per day. When you talk about agriculture, our crops, which are wheat, rice, potato, their production per acre is also not something which can be matched with the West. We are unable to feed our people both in terms of milk and meat. So we would like to know from you, what have you been doing in Belgium and in Europe, and how much time frame you think is required to reach, say, 20 liters per cow per day, which will be approximately 300% or 3 times addition to where we stand today, and how can we 3 to 4 times increase the production in crops in agriculture, which will be a huge assistance to our GDP when we achieve it, say in 3 years or 5 years, up to you.
Okay. Well, first of all, I haven't been traveling throughout the country to see what's going on, but on the little what I've seen is there needs to be a little bit more structure in the fields, on infrastructure to get there. Then second, if you want to increase production, then you have to get surrounded by people who can help you moving forward. I can only learn from people who are better than I am. Because what I see is, if I go to a place and they're milking, as an example, 45 kilos per cow a day, which is doable, which is possible, what have they done to succeed and what have they done to get there? So first of all, I would set a goal. If you're saying, well, we like to milk 20 liters in 5 years from now, it's doable. But you can reach 15 liters in a year time, but you have to do the right things. That means nutrition, reproduction, management, cow comfort, cow design, etc., etc. For the crops, I think, as I said before, is to get a structure in the fields. So what I've seen so far, it's all small pieces of land. There is a room for improvement because I think the soil can handle better crops. You have to import your genetics or your seeds from different sources in the world where the circumstances are exactly the same. And I will work out trials and then to have measurables achievements. So, and that's what I would see in the near future. So that means between now and 2025. After 2025, you're going to start fine-tuning everything what you have done before, because you have to set your basis right, and it all starts with structure, infrastructure, but also education and sharing of know-how and get expertise into your country, because that's the thing what I think there is a need for.
I would like our General Secretary, Mr. Bilal Mughal, he also has a question for you.
Okay.
How have you finished poverty in Belgium?
Okay, so if you asking me that question, it's not a simple one to answer, but after the Second World War, which was from 40 to 45, then the whole system changed, because people got, there was a lot of work to do to rebuild the country, but also to rebuild Europe. Also, at that time, there was agriculture was one of the sources for economic growth, because if you start a war, it's always about feeding the people. It's not if you have enough feed, then the rest will come as well. So meanwhile, the wheels started turning, and the middle class of people got growing. I mean, like right after World War II, middle class was maybe 5%. Now it's 80%. So then also the support of the government, that's why we pay taxes, is to support also the people who don't have the money or don't have the skills, but at least they are supported.
Thank you. I would also like our Secretary Finance, Mrs. Rabia Shiraz, to ask you a question.
Would you like to tell us how much is the role of women in politics in Belgium?
Okay, so I'm not involved in politics, but I follow it from the sideline, and what I see is that the influence of women into politics is getting more and more. Before it was only a man's bastion, so there was no influence from women, but there has been a voting that women should be at least, I think it's 35, and I can be wrong, it might be higher, percent of the politics needs to be involved by women as well. So in each party you have women, and also in the government. The government is they have, I think, 12 ministers and 7 are women. So women have quite an importance in the decision making on the politics, what is going on. But it's also something you see Europe-wide. I mean, while especially the Western Union, Western European countries like Belgium, Netherlands, France, Germany, Luxembourg, the UK, for example. Well, the Chancellor of Germany was a woman, which was Angela Merkel. She did a hell of a good job. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes. With this, I pass and request Mr. Amos Whale, our Senior Vice Chairman, to also ask you a question if he has one.
Mr. Kaul, can you tell me how your government had designed systems, reforms for cater the whole population, including middle class, working class, and elite class?
Okay, so then I start again what I said in the beginning. What we did is we put structure and infrastructure into the country. I mean, we have railroads, we have highways, we have industrial parks. So they made it for the working class or for the middle class or the elite class, and make it more accessible. And meanwhile, Belgium is a small country, so it works on export. So we have to bring in the right expertise to bring added value to the products we make. So, but our tax rate is 21% on our VAT, but then the taxes I pay, and income tax is up to 40%. So that all goes back into the government, and they will spend it well in a certain regard to help people get better and better and better. So that means like average income in Europe or in Belgium, it's especially at the moment, like the poverty line will be like 900 euros a month, and the average income per person working is about €1,400 a month. Then there is also the unemployment rate is at the moment like 8% of the working class, and they got unemployment money, which is limited up to 2 years, and that's like up to €900 a month. So everybody is benefiting from the system, but it took a long time to get it implemented, and now we are at a level where it's a lot possible.
And Carl, how important do you think the education and the health it is for all the classes, whole population of any country?
Well, for me it's quite simple. Education is number one basis what you have to get. And if you don't have education, then you don't know how the world turns. I mean, everything I've seen so far, I have it from it. I didn't go to school very long, so I learned everything the hard way. That's why I've been all over the world, because I wanted to see what was going on. So, but education is one of the primary things you have to invest in.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we had a very good, useful, fruitful, productive session with Mr. Carl Wooten from Belgium. It has been an honor to have him at the party office of Awami Flahi Party, and our core leadership has questioned him on different aspects of life, spheres of life, which are very important for any country to flourish. We have talked about agriculture, we have talked about livestock, we have talked about education, health, systems, reforms, poverty alleviation, role of women in politics. I thank Mr. Carl Wooten and all the participants for this useful session. We shall keep bringing such informative sessions. And not only that, Awami Flahi Party aims to bring forward a competent, sincere and passionate leadership in times to come, who will do the reforms, who will not only make policies but implement for the betterment of the many, not the few. Thank you. God bless Pakistan. God bless Awami Flahi Party.
Awami Falahi Party Zindabad.